So we have two. A 0 and a 1. So the 1's a novice. And the 0 is some random weird crap that always happens because there's a blank object in every actor, every class, anything that's in the database that's enumerated, there's always a 0 that's empty. I don't know why they do that for, but we need to handle that. When we decided to do. So in the case of warrior or any other first tier class, novice is the only one. So it's always going to go for the first element before falling into the non-existing traps. What to do when first one is 0. So this is in so what if we do this? Then this just becomes a or rather for each. No. Yeah. Object.keys. I think. Way to keep the 0 out of there. We'll find out. Of course, undefined is not a function. What line? 1775. Object cats. Good God. I don't know, I'm like obsessed. I got cats on the brain because, I don't know, maybe my brain wants to play Mass Effect Andromeda or something. Just gonna kill some cats. Alright, try this again. Yeah, there's the cats again. I'm being attacked by cats all over. Any other cats to deal with? No? Good. Well, now we have no requirements. That's interesting. So, CLS is 1. Element 1 of a CLS S is 1, which means that at CLS keys, CLS should also be 1. So it falls all the way through it. So, forbear actions to... So, so knight should be novice, and then, okay, no, this is the player classes, yeah, that's fine. And then that one has 1 and 2. 120, 250. However, it has an element to it, so why are we undefined? it's following through, apparently. So, let's see, okay. So, Rex, we have 2. Classes, we have 2. 2. So for I2, 0, I2 is less than, X, seals keys, which is 1, I2 plus plus. So in this case, when there's only one element, this will always fire because one off of 1, which is 0, which means that I2 is equal to the length minus 1. Which wouldn't be the case on this one, so it passed through that. And then we'd say, okay. Else if parsent, if they equal each other. Chances are it's going to match. Because the only one that have one required class all require a novice, which is the default class. So that makes it fairly safe. I'll probably come back sometime tomorrow and look at this. Tomorrow and Sunday, look at this and say, oh my god, that on this system. This whole line of code is wrong. Alright, so let's take a look. Okay. Why did I even do domestic code up? Oh my god. Alright, let me just undo all these changes I made. So, all the changes to command window, these changes, that code changes. Okay, so this was the last time that it worked. Let's see if it actually works still or not. If it doesn't work, that would be very interesting. Okay. So, we're at least getting this back down here. And then we had to do a parse int on these, right? Of course, now I've overridden any of the changes that were in the history, but whatever. And looks like we're back to frickin' square one again. It's not working again. Oh, we'll leave this for another time. Anyway, I wanted to show you the, before we got super sidetracked. Where are we gonna go? I guess we'll show this one. Just got the most stuff in it that was missing. Delete myself here. Actually, I'm gonna move myself off in case. Oh no, yeah. You can go delete me. Nothing really important. And that player. So, I finally figured out, with a little bit of help from some guy over at the MV web forums, what was going on. And it was that my tile sheet that I had set up wasn't the correct size. So, tile sheets have to be, for B through E, have to be 768 by 768. If they're larger than that or smaller than that, then they totally crap out when they get loaded into the game. Apparently, but not in the editor for some reason. So this is what the map actually looks like with stuff on it. And you can see half of the stuff is here. I still need to fix that one. It's on the B tab, and I haven't fixed that one yet. But stuff is showing up now, so that's good. Yeah, so that's going to be it for this streaming thing. Just wanted to kind of show you the progress I made on the script and also on the fixing of this stuff. Hopefully I can get that script all sorted. Next time that I do any live streaming for this, I'll have that script fully done and functional. So that'll be an interesting thing to try and figure out how to fix all that stuff. Went from having it working to having it not working. It's very actually it's very usual for software development. But probably in another maybe hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, I'll probably start streaming on the PS4 Starship 3, and then or maybe later than that, maybe around 1 o'clock, and then I'll after that I'll stream either Horizon Zero Dawn or Neo, or one of those two, and Final Fantasy HD Type 0 HD, whatever it's called. I think it's Final Fantasy Type 0 HD. So, I will see you then. Alright, so, back really quick. This is really fast. 2 o'clock. So, the reason I haven't actually gotten to streaming on PS4 is because I was working on this and then I lost track of time. So, I've actually managed to get it working now, to be honest. It's pretty interesting that I managed to get it to work. The problem was I was trying to do too many things at once. So I was trying to go through this, and while going through this, I was like, okay, we gotta handle this other stuff. And it's just not possible, because anytime you have the inner for loop iterator value being equal to the size of act class keys minus 1, in other words, you got the last element, it's going to fall under that and it's not going to print out correctly. And that's what was causing the issues of it not showing up with the correct coloring. So I decided, okay, let's just, for the sake of argument, throw it out into another loop. It's another for loop, it's another nested for loop, but at the same time, it shouldn't be that much of a performance impact because RPG Maker is not a very resource-intensive game, normally. Engine, normally. So I did that. And what do you know, it worked. So whenever we had a class that was not part of the classes already, so basically what we're saying is we're going back through the loops and we're saying, okay, if we find a class that equals a class in the required classes that's in our character class list, and I2 is not the last element, then we're just going to break and skip it. However, if this fails for any reason, either because this is false or because this is true, well, this evaluates to false, but it's true in that I2 is the last element, or at the last element now, then we go down to here. So we check for I2 not being 0 because there is no case where we have an element that wouldn't be there and have the list be 0, because there is no requirement for novice. So that covers that. Then we check to make sure that the I2 is actually the last value, and then we check the parseInt again. So if at this point the last element is true, then we break. If it's not, then we print out the name and the required level as a missing requirement. And the reason we have to do this for is because the last element could still be there. It could still be in the actor class list, but we have to handle it separately from this because this is handling anything that's not the last one. So we want to find if there is an array value present in act class keys that doesn't exist in rec classes. The only way to do that is to go to the very end, and if there still isn't a match, then say, okay, at this point we can definitively say that this does not exist in our character classes, so therefore we haven't actually met that requirement yet. And this just makes sure that at the very end, if it does match, we're not printing it out as a requirement that's missing anyway. So it's kind of a double check to make sure that double sanity check to make sure we're not doing something stupid. Now, the great thing about this is that this can port directly down to the command list creation for the command window, which is what I did. Though I was missing one crucial thing. I was missing a refresh. We actually have to do a refresh so that whenever we change the selected character, and we're doing that up in the scene, we're calling this refresh to recreate the command list to update the command list, so that if we actually now have a character class selected that the character can change to, that we're displaying this as an enabled command list value. And I will show you this in game now. So if I go over here right now, we don't have anything in here, so it'll throw an error, I think. Well, yeah, it won't throw anything because there's nothing there to look at, so it's not processing correctly. Still haven't figured out that whole thing. But we'll go over to here, get our novice to level 31, come back over here. Now if we go to knight, so you can see, novice is, we only have novice, but it's picking up warrior, but the novice is showing up as being appropriately leveled. If we go to warrior, now we have the matching novice class, and our change class option is now enabled. So let's check it out for a higher ranked thing. So let's go to 61. Okay. So let's say we want to change to knight. So we can, because our novice and warrior levels are well past the requirements. Let's see, what about Lord Knight? Well, we don't have Knight yet, so that obviously won't work. And also, our Novice level is not high enough, but our Warrior level is. So we're missing the requirements for Novice and for Knight, and those are showing up correctly while we meet the requirement for Warrior. If you go to Captain, same deal. We don't meet the requirements for any of them. Fighter, we meet the requirements for Novice. So this is working now. All I have to do now is the change class stuff. So 75% done. I think I'd be this far along already. But I'm going to continue working on that throughout today. Well, after rendering, probably tomorrow then, because once I'm done streaming tonight, yeah. So this may not be done until sometime next week then, because I do need to do a lot of recording. I have the footage for Monday, but I need to get... I barely have the footage for Monday, let's put it that way. I need more footage to render out. So yeah, things are speeding along now. Once this thing gets... The reason I'm doing this right now is because this is going to be a major thing that's going to change the balancing for the game, and I want to get the... And it doesn't really matter for the beginning of the development, but at the same time, I'm going to try and have something that's going to be somewhat a little bit balanced to base things in the future off of, so I don't have to do so much reworking. So in other words, if I get this system in, even though we don't have the weapon level system in yet, I can then say, okay, so we have this system where the characters can change their classes and whatnot. How does this affect the stuff we already have in the game? Does it make it easier or harder? And then I can adjust the difficulties, the HPs and the attack powers and whatnot of the existing enemies, then use those values to base off the next series of bosses and enemies and whatnot as I'm developing the game. And then I have a little less to do in terms of the balancing. Granted, it's like maybe 2% less to do. That's a little bit less to do, because I'll have them part of the way there to being balanced against all these things we're going to do with the player in terms of the upgrade points, the class changing, the weapon level up system. It's all going to require a lot of fine tuning and a lot of playtesting, in addition to like balancing the class stat curves as well. But I just wanted to show that off because I was right, there was like this one little thing that was wrong with the logic of what we're doing, and just needed to take a break and rethink about it, and came back and spent another 3.5 hours working on it, and now we're done fixing those issues. Alright, so give me about probably 10 minutes and start streaming over on PS4. I decided we're going to do obviously SO3, but then I'm going to start streaming a little bit of Type 0, just because something I haven't done yet. I haven't done any streaming for that, and also because I don't feel like getting my arse owned in Neo, and I don't feel like getting really awesome stuff in Horizon just to be taken up by another swamp. So that's where we're going to go with it.